Hi guys, so there's been some big updates to both Crusader Kings 3 and also the Game of Thrones mod recently, which means that sadly the save file that I use for the Dunk the Lunk playthrough is not working anymore. To be fair, it was always kind of running on borrowed time because I started it right after the release of Road to Power, so it was going to break eventually, just maybe a bit quicker than I'd hoped. But I hope you still enjoyed the little mini-series about Dunk the Lunk's life anyway. We will end the series with the intro I prepared for episode 4, which recaps the events of episode 3. Enjoy! Following my dalliance with Lady Rohan, our group travelled on to Casterly Rock and Lannisport, where we settled into something of a routine. We were hired to guard the streets, rescue hostages, join lordly retinues, and anything else that might require a band of muscled warriors and learned healers. We became friendly with Lord Harwin, ruler of a small castle a day's ride out of Lannisport, after we rescued his beautiful courtier Wilhelmina from a lynx. Lord Harwin sent us to the wall with a message to the Lord Commander, and when we returned with time to spare, he was so pleased he granted us a lordly favour. I did not have to think long on what that favour would be. At his court I had met Domela, or rather, she had met me, and had all but dragged me to the tavern, relentlessly interrogating me about my adventures and skillfully dismissing anyone who dared interrupt us. I immediately took a liking to her, and though she did have a cruel streak, I wasted no time in asking Lord Harwin for her hand in marriage. The attraction between us eventually grew into a deep love, and her strong personality eventually won her the respect of all camp followers, even Loras and Jonel. Our honeymoon of sorts took us away from Lannisport to find our fortune in the Iron Islands. One of the ways in which we gathered provisions was fishing, and I often took Loras with me. The two of us have travelled together for many years, and had much to talk and laugh about on these trips. After that, I'd often confide in Loras, and he became one of my closest friends. Egg took to the squire life like a fish to water, and I saw him grow into a proper swordsman in the sparring grounds. I entrusted him with more and more responsibilities in the camp, and he took to them eagerly and skillfully. I never had a head for numbers, but when I put Egg in charge of our contracts and provisions, I quickly saw our gold reserves grow. I started to put him in charge of the camp whenever I was away, a task which I had previously left to the older members of our group. One night, when we had camped on the beach near Castle Harlaw, I woke up to the sounds of ripping fabric, followed by screams and swords clashing. When I ran outside of my tent, from the corner of my eye, I saw a flash of red and black. Looking back, I saw a tear in my tent, clearly cut with a dagger. Egg ran towards me, covered in sweat and mud, and with a bloody cut on his right hand. "Dunk, are you alright? It was an assassin, a Valyrian." There was only one Valyrian who wanted me dead, the one who lost the trial of 7 at Ashford so many years ago, Aegon Brightflame. I shuddered. It was high time we returned to the mainland. In Lannisport, I took Egg's sword to one of the local goldsmiths and had the hilt engraved with a golden dragon. Then we all gathered in the grand set of the 7, and Egg knelt before me. He had been my second in command for months, and he had saved my life from the assassin. It was high time I made him a proper knight. The set was filled with people come to see their young prince receive his knighthood, and I had the honor to bestow it upon him. As I tapped his shoulders with my sword, Egg spoke his vows. He will always be brave and just, and he will always protect the innocent. I know it. We rented a few shacks near the harbour, and Domela and I finally had time to ourselves, to enjoy each other's company, and even to start a family. On the ship back from the Iron Islands, Domela had told me she was pregnant, and she soon gave birth to Jonquil, my beautiful daughter. Not a year later, Diana followed, and after another year, little Jane. I was a father now, yet I am still a man, and I am not without flaws. Old love dies hard, and when we returned to Cold Mode after 5 years, the sight of Lady Rohan's red hair flooded my heart with all those old memories. Though I had no wish to cheat on the mother of my children, when Rohan took me for a hunt and I rescued her from a giant stag, she embraced me in gratitude, and we looked each other in the eye. Her bright eyes, the smell of her hair, the softness of her lips. Maiden, forgive me, I kissed her. We soon left Cold Mode for Highgarden, and when I looked back at the castle, I saw a glimpse of red hair from the bedroom window. That was the last I ever saw of Lady Rohan Webber.